Everyone, I'm Allie. I love the use of mixing gemstones with some Czech glass, and this bracelet is sure to deliver. Stay tuned to learn the Super Gem Herringbone Bracelet. If you need any supplies, go ahead and look below the video to shop with us online. In the description, you can get links to our website to see exactly what was used in this project. Gather up all your supplies and let's get started. For this design, I am using 6mm gemstones. These are a man-made goldstone. I have super duos, and these are the turquoise Picasso available in the super duo mixed collections, and then also some 15Os, and these are the Duracoat silver lined rose gold that I'll be using. I have some size 6 dragon thread and 2 cup buttons for the end. To begin, I want you to grab a bead that's not part of your project and create and use a stop bead. You're going to want about 5 feet of thread. You'll notice I don't have as much because that way it's easier for me to do the video and pull it through, but I will use that as an opportunity to show you how to add thread. So to begin, we are going to start with a single row of herringbone that is going to consist of a super duo, followed by a 6mm gemstone, followed by 2 super duos, which is going to run down the middle, followed by 1 gemstone and 1 more super duo bead. We're going to let that lay right down next to the stop bead, and we are going to reverse the thread. So we're doing herringbone, but it has a little bit of a twist. We're going to pick up 3 15Os, and they're just going to sit as a little glimmer on the side, mirroring the goldstone, and you're going to turn over so that way your thread is coming out the interior towards your goldstone bead. Add a super duo and sew through the goldstone one more time. We'll come back and we will add a clasp on. So if you haven't yet started, leave yourself about 12 inches or so at the beginning to add your clasp. From here, as we come out the gemstone, you're going to go through the second hole of the next super duo. We're then going to create that nice herringbone middle, adding 2 super duos always in between the 2 middle herringbone beads. Sew through the next super duo in line, and you'll notice right away it creates that nice herringbone V. From here, we're going to sew through the next gemstone. We're going to add a super duo, and we're going to sew through the second hole of the first super duo that we have on the bracelet. Every gemstone will have 2 strands of thread that are passing through it. From here, we are going to step up. We are going to use 3 more 15Os to hide a little bit of thread, and we're going to step up from the hole of super duo number 1 to the hole of the super duo that we just added, reversing the thread, seeing how that just goes a little bit on the outside here. When we get to the middle and I'm sewing towards myself, I'm going to add always a super duo on the exterior, then my 6mm bead. Come into the second hole of the middle row of my herringbone stitch and sew through hole number 2 of that bead there. Go ahead and add your 2 super duo beads and sew through the second hole of bead number 2. That creates that nice V section in the middle there. Coming out, add another gemstone and another super duo bead. Grab on to the second hole of the super duo bead at the end of that row. So this row here, we added our goldstone beads, and look at them shine. From here on the exterior, we're going to add 3 seed beads. Step up, so we're coming out of the super duo that we just added, going basically from the exterior to the interior. Instead of adding another 6mm bead, we're going to sew through and share that 6mm bead. Prior to doing so, what I need you to do is add a super duo. So before sewing through or after coming out of, you're always going to add that super duo bead. Coming into the middle then, you're going to add your 2 super duos, 1 and 2. Add your super duo and sew through that next middle. It's always going to look like the interior row of your herringbone is further progressing than the exterior. Totally true. From here, grab onto the super duo, because remember when we're sewing away from us, or sorry, the gemstone, when we're sewing away from us, we're going to sew through the gemstone a second time. Always make sure you have a super duo on and sew to the exterior. And do one more pass here, adding my 3 15-ohs. You can use 11s if you don't have 15s. Sewing and turning around through the second hole of my super duo. From here, now I'm coming towards me, I'm going to add another gemstone. Prior to adding a gemstone, remember, got to add a super duo. Gemstone goes on into the interior row. From here, when you're in the interior, super fast and easy, 2 super duos, so into hole number 2 from the row below it. Over here, I need to add my next gemstone and add my next super duo bead. So to the exterior and give a nice tight pull. From here, 1, 2, 3 15s. Go from the top hole of the super duo below to the top hole of the super duo you just added. When exiting now, I'm sewing away from me. Remember, on the exteriors, I still need my super duo, but now I'm going to share that goldstone bead. Give a nice tight pull so your super duos line up. Sew through to the middle of your herringbone row to that nice turquoise. Add in your 2 more super duos. Sew through to the next super duo bead. When I come out the side here, remember I'm grabbing onto that super duo that's already there. But what do I need to do? I need to add a super duo. Sew through to the exterior. Add, you guessed it, 3 seed beads. If you want to add 4, you can, up to you. It's just hiding the thread a little bit, adding a little shine to the exterior. Sew through the top hole of the super duo that you just added. And now we're ready to add, again, super duo, 6mm bead toward the interior. Once we're there, nice little tight pull. From here, the middle is always easy. 2 beads get added. Sew through the next one. Coming towards me, again, 6mm gets added. Then a super duo. Then into the open hole of the super duo. Sewing away from me, when I get to that, we're going to share the 6mm bead and just add super duos. So from here, a super duo goes on. I share through the 6mm bead. After that 6mm bead, go into the middle here, add my 2 super duos, come on out, share the 6mm, add a super duo, and go to the exterior. You can see how fun this is to add those lines of gemstones. It almost looks like a nice kind of twisted rope to get a beautiful color match and look to the design. It has a really hefty feel. You're going to add about 25 of your 6mm beads to get your length on each row, so 50 total. So keep going. You're going to come close to using about 10 to 12 grams of your super duos, and again about 50 of your round duo beads. We will be adding a little bit more length when I come back and show you how to add your cup buttons. So if you run out of thread, where's the perfect place to add it? I'm on the interior here getting ready to add a super duo and then sew back through my gemstone. I'm going to take a new piece of thread here and tie it on to my existing piece of thread that still has the needle on it. Tie that on and then push that down next to your project. Grab those 2 thread ends and simply tie them together. Right over left, left over right, get a nice tie. From here, the beads are large enough and the holes are large enough that you can easily hide this knot. When you go in, burn those thread ends down, put a needle on the end of my long thread now, flattening that out, threading the needle, and then continuing on with the stitch, adding my super duo, sharing the 6, going through the super duo, adding 2 more, down the super duo, share the 6, add a super duo, and out. Once you get to the end of your project here, and again, about 50 beads to 40 beads, depending on the length of your wrist, I am coming out of my last end of my herringbone stitch. And I have on here my super duo that added, it's my second time back through my 6mm bead to the middle. And instead of going and adding another set of super duos, I'm just going to basically close that up, featuring 3 15-ohs and then sliding through the second hole of that super duo. From here, I'm going to go through that 6mm gemstone. And then once again, just like normal, coming out, I'm going to add a super duo before going out to the side. And this is going to get me set up then that I'm pretty much even, and we're going to get ready to put in our button ends. So I'm going to add my 3 seed beads, step up, and not add any more super duos or any more gemstones. So we're at the end here, we have those 3 beads there, and we're ready to add our buttons. We're going to add the buttons so that they sit side by side next to the beads, going in from one super duo on the outside toward the inside. So go ahead and add 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of your 15-0 seed beads. Go up through your cup button. On the other side, instead of going up through a cup button, we'll put on loops for the cup button. You're going to add 3 seed beads. Go down through the cup button on the other side. Pull that close to the project. And then once again, repeat those 5 seed beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those 15-0s. And then we're going to sew into the super duo straight across. And see how that button's just going to sit right there nice and flat with the project. From here, work your way over to the next super duo and repeat that same thing. 5 seed beads onto your cup button, through the top, down 5 more seed beads, and then over to the last super duo on the top here. Once you've got that second button on and you're coming out the super duo, just sneak back down through. If you want to, you can use a couple seed beads here on the side. I'm using the green thread, so I'm not going to see it at all. And you're going to reinforce going through and doubling the thread between all of this. So we're just going to sneak back over through our 6mm bead. You're running your thread line exactly the way that you had it previously. We're going to go through the next super duos that we need to. Stepping up on those there. Following our thread line here. Going up to the top, going through those seed beads all the way over till we get over to this super duo. Back up through, down along the line, back up through, down along the line, and then you're just going to weave your thread through your beads and tie off the thread with a nice sewer's knot. After that, we're going to flip over. We're going to take our thread and needle, or our stop bead off the end here. And most of you should have about a foot left of thread here at the end to get ready to attach our loops that are going to be attached much in the same fashion through our super duos. To finish up the loop on the other side, we're coming out of the last super duo here. I've added 38 of my 15-0 seed beads, going through and adding them all on a line, coming back down through then and sharing the 4th bead in line. So there's 3 beads. Then that 4th bead, we add all the beads on and share that 4th bead up and through to get a nice kind of drop shape for our loop. 3 more 15-0s, and then we're going to do like we did on the other side and sew right through the super duos. Now, obviously this side has that closed end versus the super duos on the other side that had an open end, but you're just sewing right through in the same direction. So same thing here, I'm going to go through and I'm going to add 38 beads, go back through and share bead number 4, add 3 more beads and through the last super duo. Likewise, then I'm going to go back through the project, reinforce, and then simply tie off my thread ends and burn them down to complete this amazingly fun bracelet. When you finish your project, you can see how the buttons will line up perfectly with it. And I just wanted to show it on my wrist so you can get that nice viewpoint. I have about a 6.5-inch wrist, so you can see how nice and wide it is. And with the gemstones, they have a great feel. So whether or not you're going kind of more earthy or a little bit more springy in colors, it's really fun to do this design. And I can't wait to see different examples of it in the Facebook group for beading and jewelry making. So make sure you join that if you don't already have a membership there. Thanks so much for joining me in creating this Super Gem Herringbone Bracelet. There are so many options that you can do with this bracelet and some 6mm round beads, which I know you probably already have some. But if you do need more, remember we always put the links to the project on our website with the materials listed out in the description of the video. Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe so you don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads, as well as our amazing community members that post and feed there too. Thanks so much for joining us and have fun and stay tuned for the next inspirational video.